Did you know that people with dismissive avoidant attachment style are 3 times less likely to initiate contact after a breakup? And that's even if they still care about you. And it's not because they don't feel anything, it's because they are wired to shut down those feelings before they can even surface. So, if you've ever found yourself thinking, why am I the only one hurting here? Or how can they move on so easily? This video is going to make things much clearer for you. My name is Luna A. May, and I'm a life and attachment style coach and author of books on attachment styles. And my mission here is to help you understand your emotional patterns and build secure, loving relationships that you truly deserve. And by the way, my newest book on avoidant attachment style has just came out in July, and it's available on Amazon, and I encourage you to check it out. The link is in the description box below. But let's dive into today's topic. You are probably here because you've experienced that painful, confusing silence from the side of your avoidant. Things were intense, maybe even beautiful, and then one day, it's like the avoidant just checked out of the relationship. And when you didn't chase, they didn't come running after you either. And here is the truth that might hurt at first, but will set you free in the long term. Avoidants don't chase. And it's not because they don't care, but because chasing violates the one thing they are desperately trying to protect, their emotional independence. You have to know that avoidant attachment develops in childhood environments where emotional connection felt unsafe, unavailable, or even overwhelming. So the child learns, I can only stay safe by staying safe reliant. And that blueprint doesn't disappear in adulthood. So when a conflict arises, or even too much closeness happens, the avoidant nervous system goes into the flight mode. Their instinct is to shut down, back off, and create distance. Chasing someone emotionally or physically is the exact opposite of this strategy. It would mean leaning into vulnerability and acknowledging the need for someone and admitting they've lost control. And this is something that they will not do because they are afraid of that. So then, that doesn't feel romantic. It feels terrifying. So even when they do care, even when they miss you, avoidants often don't chase because they don't trust themselves with that much emotional closeness. They fear being rejected if they show up their emotions. And more importantly, they fear being consumed by your emotional needs. They already see your needs as something they have to manage. That's why they pull away in the first place. So from their perspective, chasing would only put them further in the emotional intensity that they're trying to escape. And this is where many people get stuck. Because you think, well, someone has to break the silence. But if you are the one that's always reaching out, if you are the one that's always apologizing, that's always explaining or hoping, you're unconsciously telling the avoidant, I'll take responsibility for your discomfort. You don't have to grow. I'll bend. And over the time, this dynamic creates emotional exhaustion and deep insecurity for you. You start believing that love has to feel like this, unpredictable, unavailable, full of question marks. And love is not about that. You have to understand that's a trauma bond. It's not real love. So what should you do? You hold your center. You don't make their silence mean anything about your worth. You stop trying to pull them back into connection with you. And instead, you focus on yourself and on regulating your nervous system. You start asking yourself, what do I need from love? Not just from this person, but from any partner that I will be with. What kind of emotional availability feels nourishing to me? Am I choosing this person or just chasing the closure? Because when you shift your attention inward, that's where the healing actually starts. And if this is a pattern you recognize, if you've ever been stuck in cycles of reaching out, pulling back, and wondering why it hurts so much, I'd love to support you for my one-on-one coaching. In our sessions, we don't just talk about attachment patterns. We rewire the attachment patterns. We look at the subconscious beliefs, on the emotional imprints and energetic patterns that keep you stuck in the same dynamic, in the same loop over and over again. And we help you move into a space of deep clarity and calm. Now, let's talk about what happens when you don't chase. For the avoidant, your silence creates a new kind of tension. At first, it may feel like a relief, but over time, they begin to sit with their own feelings. They notice the absence of your energy, your checking in, your warmth, and they start to miss it. And if they truly had a bond with you, this is when they might begin to feel the real impact of what they've lost. But remember, that's not a reason for you to re engage. If they return, they need to show up differently. They need to show with responsibility, with openness, and with consistency. And what happens if they don't come back? That doesn't mean that you lost. It means you broke the pattern. You didn't abandon yourself this time. You didn't change someone into loving you. What you're actually doing is building a relationship with yourself, one where you are no longer abandoning your standards to earn love from somebody else. And now let's move to the question that my clients often ask me. So the first one is, why do I miss them so much if they were so unavailable to me? And the answer is simple. Because your nervous system got wired to associate emotional highs and lows with love. And this isn't love. It wasn't consistency, it was intensity. And that intensity creates addiction like patterns. So the missing you feel is real, but it doesn't mean it was healthy. Another question is, how do I stop wanting to reach out to my partner, to my ex-partner? And you do that by getting really clear on what you are hoping to receive in return. Are you expecting closure? Are you expecting comfort or maybe a connection? Once you identify the need, give it to yourself. Journal about it, talk it through, sit with the emotion, think about it. The need to reach out will start to soften when you stop outsourcing your emotional regulation. The last question is, can avoidance ever change? And the answer is yes, but they have to want to change. Change doesn't come from fear of losing you. It comes from the willingness to face themselves, and it's totally different. And many avoidants avoid exactly that. So don't wait for their potential. Choose based on their present. Choose a partner that is good for you now. If this resonated with you, please leave a comment and let me know what stood out most. And be sure to watch my another video that's called What an Avoidant Wishes You Do After They Reject You, because I'll give you even more insights into what's going on behind the behavior of an avoidant in that particular video. See you in the next one.